she doesn't want them, we'll take them. We're not gonna steal, but if she doesn't want them... I have a key. I have a funny key. They'll be disappointed. I cannot stay here. They left us something else, too. Hello?
More importantly, you are looking at the camera from where the hatch is, looking outwards. Because before, we were in a camera that's looking into where the hatch zone is. So that gives players the wrong idea of, oh, you should go into the hatch area.
I never really had a problem with that camera angle because like they're gonna find out very quickly that's not the way you need to go, and that's actually like a really cool spot.
I don't
It's
know.
like-
To me, it's not a very beautiful opening frame, and it's just aimed on the wrong thing. That was my biggest problem with it. That's the thing that feels the most ill-fitting, is just staring back at this elaborate hatch makes me think that we need to go that way.
Right.
We'll just agree to disagree.
I see. Okay.
A locked gate. The key. We can open it with the funny key. It fits! We won!
My gate! Our gate! Yes, sir. You are right. You broke the key! You broke the key of the lock! No, she broke it. You make a mess of things! Yes, sir. Do you want to be here forever? No, sir. I am disappointed. Yes, I know you are, and I apologize. Pick this up! Yes, sir. Pick this up now! You know what the captain says. Clean garden, clean conscience, sir. Do not let this happen again. No, sir. Do not let this happen again. No, sir. Do you wish to see the light of day? Yes, sir, I do.
If she doesn't want it, we'll take it. It's not stealing, but if she doesn't want it... A key. I have a funny key. They'll be disappointed. We cannot stay here. And then gameplay.
What's terrible about this is we're going to have to re-record all of Rena's stuff with Caitlin.
Yes, true.
Because that is such an excellent performance right there.
Thank you, Ben.
Get started. I don't want to do
All right, sign up
It's going to be a
to
much bigger ADR than you guys ever imagined.
Yeah.
I just
sign
feel bad
up
about
for
breaking the
Screen
news
Actors
to
Guild
Lena.
now.
Yeah. No, I think Rena will pull it off.
That key is useless. We have to find another way out of here.
Welcome, old friend, to my domain, a land lit by moonlight and sodden by rain. The girl you are guiding will need your assistance to conquer the giant's most dreadful resistance. But your omni-view powers were sadly corrupted back when her escape was last interrupted. Though do not despair, for you have one ability which may set her free of this evil facility. Her phone is equipped with the means to record the data I seek and prodigiously hoard. That shovel before you was left by the giant. If you scan it for me, I would be most compliant. The knowledge it yields is absolute treasure. We'll look out for each other, measure for measure.
I wish to discuss something. Where is that steamroller of yours?
Mama? In the office.
He sleeps most hours of the day.
If something unfortunate were to compromise our research in any way, and this goes for both of you, I want you to execute Directive 95.
Is the arrival at risk?
Are we expecting an attack, sir?
I expect nothing, but I anticipate everything. If this zone is boarded by any government agency, or if we are aggressed by terrorist action, you will carry out 95. Understood? Dr. Amash, you look sour.
It is... Sir, I am afraid I cannot personally execute such a directive.
Dr. Perez.
We are scientists.
Then you will enlist the skill set of someone or something that is willing to break a mirror for metamorphosis. Do you know of someone like this?
We do, sir.
When he wakes up, we will explain it to him.
That gate was a dead end, but there may be a door somewhere in this graveyard that we can explore. For here in God's acre, where souls come to rot, is a way to the next world, and X marks the spot. It appears you are trying to open a door in a way that won't work but used to before. It requires a PIN code which you don't possess. In addition to that, your Omni's a mess. Until all your powers are working again, keep an eye out for the relevant PIN.
theoretical DNA is that you could store the total world information, which is 1.8 petabytes, at least in 2011, and about 4 times the DNA.
So you want to go through kind of the gameplay that, like, if you want to, like, kind of walk us through the level?
I can give some high-level ideas of each of the spaces. So you start out in forest, and the idea of the forest is no gameplay. It's just meant to basically be it's kind of like our playable tour in a sense of this episode, because we don't have like a start out FaceTime tour. You just kind of start out with like Dope being like going up to this pile of stuff and being like, oh, look at this, I'll take this, and you're like, that's weird, whatever. But you get to go through this nice, lush, beautiful area and have this sense that you maybe are outside, that you maybe have escaped. And it's kind of winding and natural feeling. And you eventually get to the end of that where you're introduced to one, your ultimate objective, which is the gate and what's on the other side, and your nemesis, which is the gardener. He essentially disables the gate, and so this becomes no longer your path to that ending. But it also kind of makes it pretty clear this guy's violent, crazy, scary. Something very different is about to happen for this episode.
I will hold on to this.
These petri dish samples were earlier means of storing all knowledge within human genes. To play back an encrypted audio scene, look for the sequencing data machine.
Do you remember that?
I've never played it, but I'm familiar with the game.
Yeah, it's kind of the same kind of idea, right? There's this girl, and there's a bigger guy who's chasing after her,
right?
And so it just kind of reminds me of that. You know, I imagine the gardener's going to be a larger dude, right?
Yeah. Anyway, Brent, what are your thoughts?
I'm fine with the idea of like a nemesis type character. I think the title "The Gardener" sounds kind of cool for that type of character.
And it also helps a lot with we can have him wherever, right? Because that was my concern. That was why I wanted to talk about the dog. Is the hedge maze? You know, it changes depending on what this dog's going to do, how much space it needs.
Sure.
But if it's a humanoid, the only thing we have to worry about are the struggles, the amount of space the struggle takes.
I see.
Yeah.
We could have
indefatigable
we could have potentially sleep mines act as like a temporary delay for him, similar to how pepper spray and taser don't work on him, but sleep mines still have a purpose, and if he runs across it, it just like stops him for even a shorter duration than like pepper spray normally would. So they still have a use.
So I've always wanted, whatever this threat is, I want you to be able to hear it coming and know that it's close. And maybe this guy's got like keys or some kind of guard that you hear it.
He's taking notes.
Closer.
Trick isn't over. Keep watch. Yes, sir, we will.
Here in this graveyard, one door is unlocked to us. It is the greenhouse.
We should respect the dead.
Stephen Dardanning, former editor of the Evening Standard, is gone. And with him, a legacy people around here would just as soon forget. I've written my share of obits over the years, but this one's left me with a double-clove hitch in my gut. And it isn't because I've been asked to memorialize a man I've never met. I am effectively replacing him. I am sitting in his office now, reclining in his squeaky old chair. Worst of all, when I asked what his cause of death was, they told me creative differences.
That grave looks fresh.
Val, I keep finding you here.
No.
What is the matter?
Nothing. I was tending to...
You must quit spinning your wheels here. It is bad for your work.
He was our first.
I understand. But I am telling you this as your friend. This could get you in trouble. What do they think when they see you here?
Why would they be watching?
They are always watching. Derringer monitors the water in the moat.
Oh, that false crisis. In my country, too, there is a water crisis.
Abal, do not get political on me.
Terminus drinks more water than all the mirrors combined.
You're changing the subject. Have any of the mirrors died of thirst? Did this one here die of thirst? Look, I'm telling you, if they see you mourning them in this way, it will not be good for you.
How do you survive all of this?
Abal, I make it a point not to look directly at them. If I do that, I will see my own reflection. I have trained myself to stare just over their heads when I speak to them. You asked me how I survive? I took the idea of a person I hate, and I practiced very hard at becoming him.
Perf is still really, really crappy on mobile.
Even with
as
the
of
game
Friday.
analytics turned off?
Even with game analytics turned off. This is an episode 4 specific episode problem. So, Steven, I think that the thing that we've got to do today is try to run a build with no alpha.
It was very, when I ran the build on the iPad 4 with game analytics off, that identical build ran worse on the iPad Air. I got like 30 frames on the iPad 4 and I got like 13 on the iPad Air too.
Okay, then there's something weird going on there with probably the 64-bit stuff.
Yeah, we just need people investigating strike team style.
Yep, so that's going to be like a big focus for me today. And the Unity help stuff, if we're going to go through that, is I'm going to check in with John.
Well, I mean, what about episodes 1, 2, and 3? How are they looking on mobile?
As of Friday, what I've heard is that it looks good except for in a couple of key areas.
I played through episodes 1, 2, 3 on mobile and it looked pretty good. Design content looks like the light maps are broken on those.
But that brings us to kind of an issue we have where Briggs, for whatever reason, we generate light probes, but on play it destroys them. So it's not an art issue, it's some kind of code issue associated with that.
Is Darkpoint aware?
Yep, I told them. I believe Kev made a bug for it. I investigated for probably about 4 hours, couldn't figure out what the hell was going on with it.
Okay. So Kevbot's on it too?
He was. I think he looked at it, and I think he's going to have to end up having hand it off to Darkman as well.
Okay.
Full and by. Holding steady, sir. All is quiet.
You can imagine other huge data sources like all the neuronal files in the brain, which could be encoded into DNA. And again, you could do selective reading of that as needed.
That did not work.
This door will not open with mere elbow grease. The gearbox, it seems, is missing a piece.
Full and by. What do you see? Nothing, sir. Everything on top and nothing handy, sir. Everything's above board tonight. Your trick isn't over. Keep watching. Yes, sir, we will.
But they're limited by our storage capabilities. So, for example, if we could store everything, we wouldn't be throwing out data. We wouldn't be writing on top of reusing disks and tape drives. Parcel and serve.
I guess they're waiting for someone new to die.
Whose grave is this?
Don't ask questions.
Another broken mirror?
What did I say? Just keep digging. I will be back.
You ask too many questions. Yes, sir, you are right. The captain hears the question you didn't ask.
Who are you talking to, Mama?
No one, sir.
Stop digging. I said stop. Did something happen to a mirror?
Did it?
Did you break another mirror?
No, sir, I did not. Maybe I did. No, I surely did not.
Climb out of there. Get up.
I didn't tell you to stop digging.
But I...
Killed another one?
No, sir, I did not.
Calm down, both of you. It's for Octavo.
The librarian. He's dead?
He will be.
We all die someday. Except for the captain.
Shut up!
It's not stealing if nobody wants it, right?
These petri dish samples were earlier made.
Full and by. Holding steady, sir. All is quiet.
A tape.
Should be the death of me. If I had a nickel for every time I said that, I'd be rich. But if I had a nickel for every time I meant it literally, I'd have 5 cents. And if I had a better 6 cents, I'd know to stay the hell away from her at any cost. See, I'm thinking that... Oh, Zager here. I'm thinking that I may have already this up big time. What do I do? What do I do? Look, I didn't come to Metamorphosis to fall in love. Of course, I didn't come here to be a Prizrak either. Mireille Prédoux. This one's gonna hurt. Outwardly, she seems cut from the same soiled cloth as Treglazov. Listening to her recite his mantras earlier tonight during some pointless ceremony for the new library, I almost threw up in my mouth. Her blind loyalty reminds me of those pictures of North Koreans forcing their tight smiles past their empty eyes as they stand beside their pants-suited dictator. But there's something going on with her. Substance behind that effortless style. I mean, nobody is that put together. Yeah. Mireille's got some secrets, all right. Well, 2 bits of advice for all you wannabe journalists. 1, everyone's got a story to tell. And 2, follow the money. Well, I followed the money, and it led me to Treglazov. That trail met its demise here in Metamorphosis, so now what? Well, now it's time I followed my own advice. Ms. Prédoux. She's got a story to tell, I'm sure of it. God, what if she were here in a similar capacity? Right? A fellow mole digging their way up to the surface, to the truth. That's wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. Well, I always was a hopeless romantic. In any case, I'm going to talk to her. So I ought to brush up on my French first.
Time and tide waits for no man. It's a good night for foulies. Everything on top and nothing handy, sir.
Because we have the address, we know where it goes back, so once we sequence everything, we're able to reconstruct what the original message that you're encoding or digital information that you were encoding in there.
Another religious text that preaches out of its depth. Marx's manifesto declares factory, church, and state alike subordinate to the workers, on whom all depends. This flattery mumbles on through history, ignorant of time and place. Marx, the false prophet, preached to an audience in the thrall of industry, not to those who run the modern service economy, wherein everyone spins information without organization like spiders on caffeine. Once a carrier holds such uncontrolled information, it loses neutrality and becomes political, sexual, diversional. This is why the overseer must control the line with a hard hand. Only under his true grip can information find a proper place in shaping the proletariat. Marx is obsolete, mere content for the line. Hide this lesser manifesto well.
I have this weird idea about having these kind of analog TV sets located throughout the garden that more or less act like bonfires from where players send Hope to one of these weird TV sets, like it's in the forest, or like it's on like propped up on like a bunch of bricks or whatever, and then Hope will go in there and turn it on, and it has like that kind of analog like 1980s like CRTV style, like boom, and a kind of static screen comes on, but only Hope and players can only activate one at a time.
I think Ryan's initial pitch was that like the players select what their latest checkpoint is, kind of thing.
Is that?
That was part of the initial pitch, right? Was that like they essentially turn on which TV they want to be like their most recent checkpoint, and then when they die, like that's the TV they go back to, kind of thing.
I think that's okay. I partly like the idea of it being a random one.
Yeah.
A random one from the ones that you've actually interacted with.
Yeah.
Yes, Mammoth, I know that. Above.
Yes.
One of the female mirrors is having an issue I think you may be better suited for.
I will be right there.
Why is all of this out?
I'm extracting toxin.
Why?
Because I want to know.
Are you making a weapon?
Why would you say something like that?
I am merely considering who we work for.
You're being paranoid.
Occupational hazard.
It's not stealing if nobody wants it, right?
The irreligious are no better at saving themselves from illusions of holy ghosts, creating new fantasies instead. They hardly rise above their ape ancestors, hands caught in slender-mouthed jars while grasping for truth. They think we evolve towards some high-end point. No, we evolve into our environments, which is the real danger in a digital age. Left to themselves, communities fragment into niche web forums and social media echo chambers. Only an overseer can save them from lapsing into a dark information environment.
I am saying is if something happens, I hope you rescue your two-legged children before your six-legged ones.
Of course. You're being insane, Abal. Besides, nothing is going to happen to us. You know that. Abal?
Of course.
Say, if my bees die, so do your precious flowers.
The desert rose is renowned for surviving in adverse conditions. I am sure they can live without your colony.
My bees make honey. What do your flowers yield?
Death. The roots are quite toxic, you know.
Therein lies the difference between you and me, Abal. As a hobbyist, I don't delight myself with pain and suffering.
You do not have to. As an occupation, your bees are content to do it for you. Are you cold?
I'm okay.
The heat is out. Not just my office, but the entire building.
I'll pace.
Yes, keep the blood flowing.
These are beautiful.
Thank you.
And they grow right here on the windowsill.
Most times of the year, you see them on the roads. Fields of them, growing freely.
I'm afraid I didn't see much besides snow on the drive-in.
People think this country is all desert. Hot, flat, dry. But we are high up in the mountains.
May I sit? You are a gifted comparative genomicist. Do you know why I am here?
To offer me a job.
An opportunity. Did your medical director explain it to you?
Briefly. Encoding.
Precisely. Are you up to the challenge? Dr. Amash?
With all due respect, it is not much of a challenge. A zettabyte may be a lot of data for you, but for us, it is a trifle. At most, we are talking about a gram of synthetic DNA.
I'm not talking about synthetic DNA.
Then where do you want your data stored?
No. Bar, what is it? Sit down.
I think we killed someone.
What? Stop. Stop this pacing. Sit. About what happened?
Not murder. A pre-cal. We drowned him. We must have drowned him in the moat.
Why was the pre-cal in the moat?
I don't know. At first I thought it was one of ours. Then I was sure a Prizrak had found us out. But it was a pre-cal. A male pre-cal.
Okay, Abal. We have to get him out of there, okay?
I feel so bad for Mama.
Abal, we must leave here.
We can make this go away, right?
And it's worse than that. I heard the transmission.
You did? You know what I have been trying to tell you?
You are right, Abal.
It's the American government.
You are right.
They will put us in jail. They will lock us away forever.
We'll figure something out. But first, we must get the pre-cal out of the moat. We bury him before anyone knows he's missing.
When did life become this?
It's something.
These petri dish samples were earlier means of storing all knowledge within human genes. To play back an encrypted audio scene, look for the sequencing data machine.
Do you have a research partner?
Not currently.
Good. I have just the person in mind for you. Do you know Dr. Amash?
Never heard of him.
You'll like her.
Her? Her? Yes.
Does it bother you?
Does what bother?
That Dr. Amash is a woman.
Of course not.
Okay.
She's American?
No. Iranian, I think. Dr. Perez, what would you say is the most important consideration in your particular field?
Ethics.
Ethics? Are you ethical, Dr. Perez?
Certainly.
No, you are not. If you were, I wouldn't be here in your office right now. Are you offended?
A little bit.
You are, however, principled. And that is why I am here. Do you know what I am proposing to do in my research facility?
I think I do.
I'm going to ask you again, what is the most important consideration in your particular field?
For me personally, can it be done?
I'll see you Monday, and together we'll find out.
Overseer, how may I help you, sir?
Oh, please don't get up. I am actually looking for Dr. Perez.
I believe he is reading to the mirrors.
Reading? They received that sort of stimulation then?
Only very recently. It is your manifesto.
Our manifesto.
Of course.
Is this yours?
I am sorry I did not inform you that I would be bringing a radio.
It is okay.
I do not use it anymore.
Why is that?
Mammoth. He gets upset. He heard me tell Gnome, Dr. Peretz, that the radio waves cut through our brains. They are invisible signals. Mammoth did not like that. And once he has an idea in his head, it is difficult to get rid of it.
I see. I would like you to start using the radio again. But only when Mammoth is around.
Sir?
Yes. Yes, I will watch from that feed, whenever he enters the room.
What is the scientific purpose of this?
You said Dr. Peretz was with the mirrors. I think I will go see him now.
Yes, sir.
Take it or leave it. I'm not offended. But it is a mistake.
It's a very nice tie. But I need to go out in the brass. There's no other choice.
You walk out there like that, and all the public sees is a battleship.
Well, there's no way around it. It's so...
Why, Richard, you seem unhinged. Do you need to lie down?
I get like this sometimes.
Look, it's just a tie. Wear what you like. I won't belabor the point further.
No, it's not that. I'm not a face man. Hate this dog and pony show.
Relax. This is our opportunity to tell our side of things. We've done nothing wrong.
What's my opener?
Just tell them the truth. Here, tell them what you told me the night of the inauguration.
I believe in what this agency has been entrusted to do, right down to my soul.
Soul's good.
To defend our nation, our allies, and our agents abroad from outside threats.
Lose the but excellent. And remember...
Remember what?
Civlib.
Oh, all right. And to defend our nation while protecting the civil liberties of our citizens.
Good. But Vice Admiral Matthews, what about your vast array of data centers? Those can't strictly be for saving information on other foreign threats. Surely they are used to store evidence on U.S. citizens as well.
Of the data centers on U.S. soil? Absolutely not. We do not hold data on the citizens of the United States there.
Stop. No, I'm impressed. Marjorie will be proud of you.
Oh, that reminds me. I should call her.
After. First, you need to go out there and tell the people how we intend to save them, Mr. Director.
Are you watching the TV?
I am. It would seem my whistleblower made good.
It wasn't her. This guy was a system admin, operating under his own warped sense of justice.
What? What about my plant?
She never made her move.
Well, what the hell is this guy's story?
I don't know. But I'd prefer we had control of all the variables here.
Vice Admiral, you don't need to talk to me about control. Just follow the protocol. Tax evasion, stripper girlfriend. In fact, if there's something you want me to run a search on, I'd be happy.
Don't get carried away. You keep the day-to-day to us. I do wish we had the prefab package with what's-her-name. She came with a strong motive to discredit.
Well, look on the bright side. No one can trace this back to you. Plausible deniability. Now we can hasten our move to Terminus.
I suppose.
Richard, this is the black eye we needed. Let's fumble the follow-up like we discussed and look grossly incompetent doing so. Then we'll go talk to the DOD about outsourcing.
You sound almost flippant.
Where is this noble fool? I want to send him a token of appreciation.
And I'd like to send him up the river on charges of violating the Espionage Act. But he's fled the country.
To what destination?
Russia.
Ah, a spy after my own heart.
And what's the matter? Lately, you sound distant.
Probably our new encryption tech.
I don't mean the phone line.
I know what you mean. I'm flat out with Terminus. Data collection is a beguiling Lorelei, Richard. It's keeping all of us very engaged at present.
Let's be clear about something. You signed an oath to collect and store for the clandestine agencies of the U.S. government. That does not empower you to tamper with or exploit any of the information in Terminus, nor does it allow you to play Peeping Tom into the private lives of the American people.
Vice Admiral, we are in business together, in pursuit of a common interest. But do not tell me what to do. I am not an American citizen. Terminus is not U.S. property. You rent from me.
Hey, calm down. I didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
We have no feathers to ruffle. 40 years of living in your country left me plucked bare.
Sorry you feel that way. We are in your debt. As a nation, and me, personally.
Don't get soft, Richard. I didn't make your problems go away out of some personal obligation. I just think you're the best man for the job. So go do that job. And leave me alone to do mine.
Any other comments on this angle, guys?
I like that, dude.
What do you guys think about in that mode, Veggie, like cheating? So the camera's a little bit higher because it does look like you're kind of like a baby.
She's short, but yeah, no, I can see she's holding the.
Yeah, she's actually.
Selfie stick.
She's got
selfie.
You have to find it.
I mean, do you guys have any concern that they have to go into their inventory to toggle this mode? Because I kind of do. Almost feels like
you would add
there is a hotkey spot.
I'd have it either as a hotkey or have like another UI element that like allows you to do this toggle because you're going to be in here quite a bit.
We talked about having a
top left,
a camera button
on the top left,
either in the top left or part of Omni.
left these. Don't be so careless. Yes, sir.
While the girl's fearful cries should not go unheeded, the giant has taken the item we needed. So pilfer the pockets of that aimless brute, but be wary of bees as you steal back the loot.
Everything's above board tonight. Interesting. I think so too. We'll see it better in the light of day. Looks above board.
Let us go in for the steal.
see it better in the light of day. Time and tide waits for no man. Who is that? We'll hang you from the yardarm.
In Hesse's Siddhartha, his hero is a journeyman of the spirit who finishes what he begins and presents his soul as his masterwork. This only encourages our sickness since the Cold War. The threat of nuclear weaponry turned the human spirit into an echo, bouncing among rocks, dwindling in force, landing on no cosmic ear. Does our manifesto not save people from Hesse's navel-gazing self-absorption? We boldly proclaim what is true for the digital age, while Hesse whispers mere vanity.
These chains are tough.
Behold, it's a tunnel, at least part of one. Someone before us had had enough fun. This crudely dug hole was their means of escape, but it won't do much good in its current shape. The water is high where it needs to be low. Let's find the equipment to stifle its flow.
It's not stealing if nobody wants it. Right? Dr. Perret says mirrors do not work underwater.
Somewhere a wall box is missing its dearest piece. Stage a reunion.
pick this up.
John's Gospel celebrates the Logos, God's inner identity. Yet the translation of this, as God's Word, has led to a sloppy veneration of the Bible by those who take the word literally. Content requires context. But as this book shows, we divorce the two every day, as though it were a reflex. Broadcasters peddle sacrilege as they blindly profane whatever they try to confess. This book fails its own ends.
It fits. The door is opening.